Wait, come here.
Hello, and welcome back to East Valley Teacher Update, Episode 3. I'm once again your host, Mr. Saratori. And I think this week, your teachers have submitted some absolutely hilarious videos, and I'm super excited to share them with you. So, let's not waste any more time and jump right in. Our first story comes to us, as usual, from our field correspondent, Mr. Hales. From Mr. Hales. Not again!
Hey there, Mr. Saratori. This is Mr. Hales here, field reporting again live for EVTU. I'm here today at the site of what might well be known as the Chicken King of Yakima. We are at the house of our beloved science teacher, otherwise known as Hip Hernandez, and I want to show you a little bit about what he's been doing for his quarantine. If you see behind me, we have a chicken coop. Now, Hip has spent his time hatching a plan to come up with a new and improved chicken coop for his chickens. Now, I must say, I don't know much about construction, but that looks pretty excellent, if I do say so myself. My yolks crack me up. Now, if we look around, well, here's Hip himself. Hey, how you doing, Hip?
Get out of my yard, let's go.
Oh, crap. Sorry, guys. I had to get out of there kind of quick. Always get permission before you go into somebody's backyard. Okay? While you are still cooped up, I'm going to leave this bit on a happy note. Educators, what happens when chickens misbehave in school? They get expelled. Back to you, Mr. Saratori.
Wow, what a great story. Great job, Hip. I can't wait to see it when it's done. And to Mr. Hales, thank you for spreading your wings for such a risky endeavor. I know sometimes being a field reporter can feel like you're walking on eggshells, and that sometimes showing up in people's backyard does not always go over easy. I'm sure if you just let Hip roost overnight, he won't be mad in the morning. Dang, that was a lot of puns. It's kind of like nervous about putting all of those in this video, but what do I look like? A chicken? Okay, enough puns for right now. Okay, we're going to our next story. Our next story comes to us from Mrs. Simpson. Mrs. Simpson is this week's focus for our segment that we started last week with Mr. Ostrander called What's Cookin'? Mrs. Simpson has cooked something for herself as well as her husband, and I'm excited to share it with you. So let's check it out.
Hey Red Devils, this is Mrs. Simpson, and I'm going to show you what I'm cooking for dinner tonight. We're going to make some spaghetti with broccoli, chickpeas, and some garlic, and a little bit of ricotta cheese. So if you are a spaghetti fan and a broccoli fan, this recipe is for you. I've got my pasta in the pot here boiling, getting it all nice and al dente. And then over here, we have a nice mix of broccoli and chickpeas, red pepper flakes, salt, pepper, garlic, olive oil, all the good stuff. Okay, little visit back to the oven. Our broccoli is getting a little bit roasty. It's just not quite there. So as you can see, some of the ends of the broccoli are starting to get brown and crispy, and I'm gonna leave these guys in there for a few more minutes so that they're nice and crispy and delicious. And here is our finished product. Guys, it smells delicious. It's very lemony and garlicky, and I'm really excited to eat this. I'm also really excited for my husband to try this. Fun fact, he's a vegetarian, so I'm trying out lots of cool vegetarian things for him to eat while we're stuck here together in quarantine. So, in a moment, we will reveal how he feels about this delicious looking pasta dish.
Thank you, Mrs. Simpson. That looks absolutely delicious. We appreciate you showing us what's cooking in your neck of the woods. Speaking of the woods, you'll notice there's a plant here. This is Leaf Erikson, and my students know that this is kind of my classroom plant. Obviously, I had to bring it home because now my classroom is home. And a lot of other teachers had to do that as well. One of our teachers that has a ton of plants in their office is Mr. Oldham. And Mr. Oldham wants to give you an update about all of his plants in our next segment called Show Me Your Crops. Let's check it out.
Hey everybody, Mr. Oldham here. This is a new segment on East Valley Teacher Update where we look at what teachers have been doing in their gardens and with their plants since we went into shelter in place. Welcome to Show Me Your Crops. I took home all the plants from the counseling office, and here are the poinsettias we had at Christmas time that look pretty nasty right now, but they're actually starting to get some new leaves, so we're hoping that maybe they'll make it. Next up is a shamrock that I've had for quite a while. And then finally in this little part of the house, here is Mr. Saratori's spider plant that is struggling just a little bit, but we're hoping he's gonna bounce back. They're all here in the window, kind of by our stained glass, in their little protective cat covers. Next up are the bigger plants that are here in the foyer of our house. Most of these came from the counseling office. First, we have the ficus bonsai, Mr. Hale's split-leaf philodendron with a little Mr. Bird peeking out, my split-leaf philodendron, a spider plant, and then one of my favorites, we call this our little lemon tree, has just started putting on leaves after the winter. And that's your short tour of the counseling plants that are sheltering in place at my house. See you next time on Show Me Your Crops.
Thanks for sharing, Mr. Oldham. And actually, my spider plant looks a lot better under your care than it did in my classroom, so thanks for that as well. It's nice to get back to our roots here at East Valley. Our next story comes to us from Mrs. Rosso, who, despite promising to not cut her own hair, has just got so frustrated with the salons being closed that she's taken matters into her own hands. It's actually become a pretty hairy situation. Let's check it out.
When this first started, I promised my hairdresser I wouldn't cut my bangs. And so I'm going to attempt to cut my bangs. I'm not saying you should try this at home, but we're going to see how this goes. Another problem that is going to arise for me is that I'm pretty much blind without these glasses. So I'm going to have to take my glasses off to cut my bangs. So wish me luck. My goal is to not look like Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber, but if I continue to let these bangs grow, I'm going to look like Cousin It from the Addams Family. So, wish me luck. Although I got these big scissors, I don't know if they even cut hair. I've been using them to cut material to make masks, so I hope that they're going to cut my bangs. So, we'll see how this goes. Oh my God. Well, they're not great, but I can live with that until I see my hairdresser next month. Take care, and I can't wait to see you Red Devils soon.
Mrs. Rosso, you looked great before, you look great now, and you're going to make it to your next appointment just fine. I promise. Our next submission is kind of similar to the last video. It is from Dr. LeBeau. Dr. LeBeau noticed that a lot of people in Zoom meetings and on Google Meets have been turning their camera off. And she feels that although that's fine, if the reason is because you didn't do your makeup that day, well then she might have a solution for you. She has provided a 3-minute makeup tutorial in our next segment called Makeup Work.
Hi, Dr. LeBeau here. I'm just putting on my gloves because it is safety first, you know, during our quarantine here. But I have noticed after last week's Google Meets that we were all seeming a little washed out. So I am going to give you a little tutorial on how to bring a little bit more life to your face. As you can see, I'm au naturel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I cover my dark areas with some cover up, my red areas with some cover up as well. The next thing that I need to do is grab my makeup, and I am using a heavier cream makeup because the camera, it does tend to wash out. So it actually goes on pretty smooth with these gloves. Pretty impressed. Anyway, once you've got your base on, then you need a little powder to set it, because again, you don't want that shiny look when you are on camera. So I'm going to brush it on here, give myself a little contouring. Once I've got that done, I go for highlighting my eyebrows. Again, if we have to draw them on a little bit just to fill them in. Once I've got that done, I do need to make my eyes stand out a little bit because you will see me on camera. And the eyes are the expression of the soul. So we're going to highlight with a little liner. And because I have dark hair, I'm going to use a darker liner to make it a little bit more seductive. I mean, that was a bad word. Let's make it a little bit more appropriate here. Okay, we're going to use a darker lip liner here. And I'm going to fill it in with a little lipstick. Where's that? Oh, I'm missing. Oh, there it is. And I'm using a little bit brighter color than I would normally wear. It's okay to go a little outside the line because you want to make sure that your lips are full. Now, I don't think that it's caught your attention, but I do have a little bit more of a rash still, and it's in the form of a cold sore right here, so I'm going to turn that into a beauty mark so it's perfectly covered. Now that I have a little bit more color for my face, there's a little thing that I have to do, and I have to hide the undyed hair. So I'll show you a little trick. All you have to do is make a little bandana headband. There you go. You've covered all of the gray and all of the unnecessary look. And if you notice, I'm a little older. Not all of you have this problem, but I do. But I use this as a dual purpose. During the day, I can set this right here, cover my neck up as I'm doing my Google Meet, and I'm all ready to go to the grocery store or the pharmacy by putting my mask up. I'm set for the day. This has been Dr. LeBeau with the finer points of Google Meet. See ya.
Thank you, Dr. LeBeau. Looking great as always. Now, that wraps up episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Nope, not Revenge of the Sith, sorry. I'm thinking about Star Wars because it's May 4th and everything. And May the 4th be with all of you. I hope that this episode made you laugh. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you join us next week for episode 4 of East Valley Teacher Update. Till next time, adios.